Hey, Colab Coach here yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. Brand new series alert. Brand new series. Last week was the end of the last series on healing the world. Now we're talking about reprogramming your relationships. Reprogramming your relationships. Now I know that's a bit of a long title, but it's so profound because there's a lot of people in relationships now, previous relationships, that wish they were able to do things to make the relationships better before they ended. So we're going to talk about that. Now, the first week of this series is all about myths, the myths of reprogramming your relationships. Now, a lot of people hear reprogram relationships and think that it's something that is so daunting, it's so laboring, it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I'm here to say that's not necessarily true. But we're going to talk about that in the next couple weeks as we continue to break down this whole topic. Now, the first myth I want to talk about is thinking that reprogramming or recreating your relationships is just too difficult for me to do. I'm here to say that is not true. Now, a lot of things in life, we have to take them bits by bits, pieces by pieces to truly understand how to achieve that goal. When it comes to reprogramming relationships, we have to understand bits by bits, pieces by pieces of what you think a relationship should be and what has happened to you in your past. Because a lot of people, excluding myself, we step into relationships basing them off of previous relationships or basing them off of how we felt in previous relationships. We're trying to recreate that spark, recreate that energy. And then we realize that it is not working out because, of course, you're dealing with different people, you're dealing with different situations, maturity levels, and things of that nature. But when it comes to you actually taking the steps to reprogram, you have to start off in a relationship with a blank slate. Now, that's harder to say than it is. It's harder to do than it is to say, but you have to start off with a blank slate. I'm not saying just be forgetful or have amnesia about the previous relationship, but I am saying that you cannot step into a new relationship and bring in the same, as a lot of people say, baggage, but bring in the same mindset that you had in the previous relationship when you know it was not effective and it did not bring any purpose into the relationship. Another myth people have when it comes to reprogramming or recreating your relationships is that reprogram my relationships should be based on what has happened to relationships that have happened in my life, as far as things I've seen, things that I've experienced, people I've witnessed, things of that nature. Meaning that you think that reprogramming relationships should not happen. It should just be based on the relationships that you've seen, you learn, and you grow from. I'm not here to say that the relationships that you had in the past were terrible. I'm not here to say that the relationships that you had in the past was something that you should not, find as important or find as beneficial. Because some people have had parents, aunts and uncles, siblings, things of that nature that have had successful relationships, and they were amazing and they are long lasting and they're still going on to this day. So I'm not saying negate those relationships, but I am saying those relationships that were not beneficial. You know, the relationships where you see the people in relationships always arguing, they're not really coming to solutions, they're not working with each other, they may be cheating on each other, they don't respect each other, they talk about each other behind their back, they may be physically or verbally or mentally abusive. Those are the relationships that you have to reprogram and say, hey, this would not be me, this would not be the relationship that I want going forward. And yes, I grew up in these toxic environments of these relationships, but I am now reprogramming my idea of what relationships are, because I do not want to have a relationship like that. I do not want to bring children in the future in these relationships going forward. I do not want to set the precedent in these relationships saying that, hey, I say I saw this, so this has to be just like this, or I see these habits and I'm bringing these habits into the relationship. We gotta break the cycles. We got to break the cycles, and we have to break that myth. Now, the last myth that I want to talk about, of course, there's a lot of different other myths, but the one thing that I think the most powerful myth that a lot of people actually succumb to, and I came to that this myth as well, is that thinking that reprogramming relationships is too much work and I can't do it. Yes, I want a better relationship. Yes, I want better things to happen for me and my future significant other. But it's just too difficult. I've been around so many toxic relationships. I've seen so many toxic relationships on social media. So many people getting married. So many people getting divorces. So many people getting together. So many people breaking up. And it's just too much. I don't think I can see a successful relationship in my future. So I might as well just be single. I might as well just date around. I might as well just keep to myself. And if I find someone, sure. But I don't want to do that much work. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. I was at that point one time before I got married, before I met my amazing wife, that I was just like, man, I just can't. This is just too much. Is I did my best. It didn't work out. Let me just be single. Let me be in these streets, as they say, and all this different stuff. But I realized that if you really want something to be successful, if you really want something to happen that's beneficial for me, for you, for me, especially relationships, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. And because it is work, it's going to take some time. Because it is work, we're going to have to go through the ups and downs. Because it is work, sometimes you may feel tired. Sometimes you feel like you want to give up. But in the long run, that work should have purpose and that work should be fruitful for you. You have to make it work for you, especially if you want those relationships that you are claiming that you want deep down. Because deep down, all the people that are single, unless you are really, really honing just being single, a lot of people who are single right now, they want some type of companionship. And I'm not saying marriage, I'm saying significant other, I'm saying long-term friendships. I'm talking about things that are solidified, things that you don't have to break from, or, dang, another one bites the dust. These are the relationships that we need, especially when you're growing older. You want those solidified relationships, solidified friendships, solidified significant others that you can rely on, because we're human. We need to depend on each other. So, to make it as simple as possible, myths about reprogramming your relationships. The first myth is thinking that reprogramming or recreating a relationship is something that is too much for me to do right now. It's too much work. I don't think I can do this. I've tried it before in the past and it did not work for me, so I'm just going to give up on it. That is a myth. Don't give up on something you believe in. Just because it is work does not mean it's terrible. Just because it is work does not mean it won't be successful. Just because it is work does not mean you should just automatically say that it's too much. Give it a try, do your best, and let's see what the results may be. The second thing that is a myth that a lot of people think about when reprogramming relationships is that because it does not look like the relationships that happened in the past, because it look like the relationships that I grew up on, that means these relationships are not worth it. I don't have to reprogram them. There's no need for me to reprogram them because it is not what it looked like and what it should be. I'm here to say, just because you didn't grow up with these type of relationships, just because these relationships may not be something that you've seen growing up, doesn't mean they're not beautiful. Yes, some of us may have grew up in positive, wonderful, amazing relationships with our families, our friends, significant others, things that you've seen. But just because they were great doesn't mean they can't be greater. Reprogramming means that you can elevate it to the next level. Finally, the last idea of reprogramming relationships that has been a myth is that thinking that you don't deserve it. I'm here to say you deserve to have wonderful relationships, and that may mean you have to reprogram some things that you think as successful relationships that may have been toxic in the past. Simple as that. So if you're struggling with reprogramming relationships, if you're struggling with this concept, I'm here to help. Go ahead and go to my website, yourcolabcoach.com. Fill out that relationship checklist. Sign up for that free 15-minute coaching session. Let's talk. Let's discuss. I'm doing wonderful, wonderful things right now with my business, and I just want you to get all the help that you need. I'm here to help. Facebook Colab Coaching, Instagram Colab Coaching. All my series, on my videos are on YouTube, COLAB Coaching. Write a review about this amazing book as well. Fresh Eyes Solve Problems, Easier, the Self-Love Relationship Project. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. If you can't find a book, let me know. It's on Kindle. It's an audio book as well. Listen to it. I'm the one that recorded it. You hear my voice, nobody else's. And thank you so much for listening and watching. So excited about getting into this new series. Write some comments also in these videos. Tell me exactly what you want to talk about in this series. And if you had to reprogram your relationships for the better, what did you do? What was beneficial? And maybe what didn't work? Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Bye.